film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Yeah.
Coming at you from the mean streets of St. Louis, from a basement on South Broadway, the Indie Film Sucks podcast.
Because indie film is pretty damn cool.
It's getting cooler. I mean, outside.
There's a lot of indie film going on.
There's a
There's
lot of indie film going on.
Yes.
With all the lackluster shit out of Hollywood, people should be hungry for some cool stuff, and hell, we may be in on that. I don't know.
I don't
find
know.
out.
I mean, Jackie Kelly has her feature debut, getting ready to go into production.
Yeah.
Yep.
Down the Long River, the locally shot Western, I think that's close to wrapping up. Trevor Younger just did another kind of, not horror exactly, but horror crime feature called Relentless.
Yep.
And Mondo Franco is still in post on Reaper Road. There's a lot of stuff going
Anxiety's getting ready to
Anxiety's
drop.
getting ready to drop. The
Yep.
latest Eric Stanzi film.
Yeah.
So there is tons and tons and tons of St. Louis talent out there making movies.
That's just in St. Louis.
Right. That's just within probably 15 miles of where we're at.
That's right.
To tell
Yes.
you the truth. No, it's all good stuff. So indie film doesn't suck. Indie film's, I think, is on fire right now. I think it's a good time for indie film in St. Louis.
Let's just cash in on that shit. We'll be really happy. Everybody cash in.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Hey, oh yeah, who the hell are we?
Well, we're Indie Film Sucks podcast. Brought to you by 88 Millimeter Films. My name's Mackie.
Chris Grega.
He sounds so depressed over there. My name's Chris Gregg. I'm Eeyore.
Wow.
Be happy, man. You're on a freaking. You run the ship.
You know who's not?
Who
on
are you?
You know who's not on assignment?
I'm the asshole that's always on assignment.
Brock Roberts.
They wish I were on assignment tonight.
As we say, Greg, Brock Roberts, ladies and gentlemen, Brock Roberts.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And nice to see you guys again. It's fun.
good. Glad to be here.
Great to be here.
Time of my life right now, this moment.
What else do you guys got going? I understand that we're going to be showing, not we, you are going to be showing your latest 48-hour film.
Yes, everybody that got a nomination, and we were nominated, didn't win, are going to be at the best of screening or something like that.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, so I think a couple weeks ago we talked about 48-hour films on the podcast, and we said we were up for a nomination, our film did whatever, so Chris Craig was up for Best Director. They had those awards. Somebody else won.
Correct.
For a different film, which was great, but if you were nominated,
Always a bridesmaid.
your film will play at the best of.
More like always an usher. Always an usher. That's
As
like-
opposed to being in it? Would you rather be an usher or be in the wedding?
no, but
I'm sorry, would you rather be an usher or not be in the wedding? I apologize.
An usher is like the shitty job you give your cousin. That is like a job at a wedding that you have to work. It's not like being a groomsman. You just have to stand up there like an asshole. But if you're an usher, you got to do a job, man.
No, that's true. So would you rather be an usher or just be
I'd rather be a guest.
Just a guest, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ushers, it's like everybody's piling on the bus drinking, all the groomsmen, and they're like, where's the ushers?
Exactly.
If I'm ever usher, I'm going to be drinking anyway. So.
Well, of course. But
Yeah, I'd rather be a groomsman than an usher. Being an usher
groomsmen
sucks.
are fun, man. You get to go party and all that.
yeah, the groomsmen's where it's at.
I need to get some more friends that
Yeah.
are getting married. Just
You know,
for the
at this
party
phase of our
aspect.
life, though, it is rough. Maybe Greg is going to get married someday.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That'd be a party.
All right. Anyhow,
All right, enough of that. Yes, so the 48-hour. Thanks,
Yeah.
Brock, for bringing that up.
congrats.
Yeah,
truly.
it'll play
Thank
at the High Point
Yes.
Theater.
September 21st.
Yeah, September, probably a week after this comes out.
Probably.
So check it out.
And it's posted to YouTube. It's posted to Facebook, so you can watch it right now. Don't turn around. Scary.
Packs a punch.
Shot in this basement. Shot on this set. As a matter
Shot
of
on the
fact.
set. Yes, exactly. I mean, we had to pay a lot to get on the set.
We did.
I know. Yeah, but okay.
All right, so tell us what's going on with Red Night. We kind of alluded to we got some big news coming, and we probably will announce some stuff pretty soon. But we had a few things to take care of before we packaged it up and sent it out. So why don't we talk about what we had to go through to get to where we are right now before we get to the big news later on soon, hopefully.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So right now where we stand is we're working on a new edit, and I think we may or may not just got that back from our editor Jeff Wedding.
We may.
So we got a secondary feedback back from the distributor that's interested in our movie and said, "Hey, great first re-edit on the changes we made, but here's some additional suggestions. What do you think?" Right? And we kind of talked it over, looked at them, said what we thought, and then we went back to Jeff and said, "Hey, this is what we think we need to do." He turned it around pretty quick, got it back to us. So I don't know if you want to talk about that process, Grega, in more detail.
I'd like to hear more detail, Chris.
Yeah,
Grega.
so from where we're at from that standpoint, because you were highly involved with Jeff on that.
So the first cut, and again, the first cut was all stuff I was thinking anyway.
So let's back people up. Why did we have to make? Let's just remind people, why did we have to make the cuts?
We didn't. We did not have to make any cuts.
Great point.
The film, I think, plays on its own. It plays well. It was 82-minute runtime, but after multiple viewings with an audience, I was beginning to think, man, I think the first half of this film for an action horror film kind of drags. There's just a little bit too much setup, and we need to get to the payoff a little bit sooner. So now I think instead of getting to the pawn shop robbery, spoiler alert, at the 24-minute mark, I think it gets there at the 18-minute mark, which that's a significant amount of time.
That's significant, yes.
So once that was done and a few other minor changes were made, we sent that to our potential distributor, and very happy with it. And then came back with, hey, here are a few more suggestions that I have, which are not deal breakers. Take this with a grain of salt, but I think you could probably further refine it by doing this. And I looked at that list, and most of it, I agree with.
Yep.
And took it to Jeff, our editor, said, what do you think? And Jeff was like, shit, you want me to cut it again?
How much is left? I mean, imagine doing this with real film.
Yeah.
I mean, next to impossible, I would think, unless somebody was talented enough to do it. But
They did it all the time.
I mean, exactly. That's
time consuming. Very
Yeah.
not like
Isn't
not
it
like
strange
a
though? We're cutting shit out because it's digital.
Yeah, it's digital. It's digital.
It's easy.
Comparatively speaking, anyway, I couldn't fucking do it. But.
Yeah, easy. He says easy. But you're right. We're talking about this like, we turn it over to Jeff. He turns it around in a week or whatever the hell he did. But I mean, man, old days. Imagine editing and.
Yeah, when Chris
on a flatbed, we don't want to discuss all that.
when Greg had mentioned all this to us as a team, a lot of the suggestions we all agreed on. Yeah, we could probably tighten it up here a little bit, do this, make this happen a little quicker. But there are a couple suggestions we did not take because we felt we didn't need to change it for a couple reasons. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, there were two scenes. One was a restructuring of the introduction of a character. And to his credit, Jeff, our editor, he tried that. He's like, man, I tried this 10 different ways. I just cannot make it work in a satisfactory way. He's like, I'll do whatever you want. And I said, you know what? I mean, I get exactly what you're saying. That was always kind of on the bubble for me anyways, because I know what we have works. And it was just introducing a character, the female lead, in a more dramatic way. The first time you see her, she's spiking someone in the head with something.
Screaming, yeah, there's some action.
But there was just no reasonable way. And I get why the distributor wanted to do that, because it's more impactful, but there's no reasonable way to do it. So I said, just scrap that. Let's keep it the way it is, because the way it is works really well. And then the second one was a later scene which involves Brock's character and the actor playing his father, who was Bill Moseley, and it's a scene with them that comes near the end of the film, and it has an emotional layer to it, which I thought, man, we need to keep this, because I could see why, and I'm not going to explain why, but I could see why the distributor said we could lose this for this other reason. And I'm like, yeah, technically we can, but I think the scene delivers a nice, I don't know.
It's a little nuance.
Well, a little coda to the film.
Yeah. No. And you got to take everything into perspective and say it's at the end of the film. And some of the things I think the distributor were saying doesn't matter at the end of the film at that point, to me.
No, we've either got someone or we lost them at that point.
Exactly. And I agreed with his points, but I also agreed why we don't have to change that.
It is at the end of the film, but, if nobody ever saw it, they wouldn't miss it. You know what I mean? But since it is in there and we've all seen it, it adds another layer, if you ask me, to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So
my point is they would miss it. If they get to that point of the film and it's not there and the film ends the way it does, I think people would be like, huh, okay, well, yeah, that was good. But I think this adds.
It does. It would end too abruptly. It would end, and people would just go, "What the hell?"
It adds more. It adds. I don't want to give too much away.
Is that because I know the ending and I'm
right? I don't know.
Right? It's this is.
I just know it's a good scene, and I think it adds to the movie.
It's a good scene. It does add to the movie, and it is probably one of, if not my favorite scenes in the film. But that is not the reason I want to keep it in there.
Sure.
Because if I thought, okay, the film would be better if this were gone, I would cut it out.
Sure.
I think that's part of your point tonight is saying, and even a couple weeks ago when we talked about this, is we made decisions based off of sellability and the right thing to do to make the film better. Not saying it was bad. Sellable, right?
Yeah.
Like for commercial reasons. And we had no problem doing that.
No.
And then when it comes down to other things, which everybody's right in this, we're right, and I think that's why he even put in his email saying, "Hey, it's not a deal breaker, but here's some more things that I think." I want people to understand that as a filmmaker, when you're attached to something, it's hard sometimes because I don't know. I've seen the movie so many times. I don't know what the movie would be like without that last scene.
It'd be shorter.
No, but I don't. I think right, and we were both. Brock immediately we were both like, no, we're against that.
Yeah, we knew what I meant to the film.
Yeah,
and you're probably right, Greg. It would have probably ended a little too abrupt.
That's what I think.
The book would have never closed. Just been like a book without a back.
Wow, that's deep, buddy.
Not really.
Son of a gun. That was just. I mean, you talk about the bindings broken on a book, and
oh yeah, there's just the binding would be all gone.
Man, but it is easy to make choices for commercial changes to try to sell something, right?
Yes.
I think we were on board with that, and our intuition and what we thought and what we felt, and then some reinforcement allowed us to make those changes.
Sure.
And then when you start fine tuning a little bit more, then it becomes going, yeah, if it's a business decision, I get it, but it's more of a personal decision that we feel as filmmakers that we're going to hold on to that, and we did.
Think of it like a knife. You're grinding a knife down on a grinder, and the blade is to a sharp edge. You can grind something too far down. Well, now you've ruined the metal. You've ground so much off that now this doesn't work.
It's right. A toothpick now.
Yeah. Right, and I think even so let's throw the last scene out. Right, we talked about that and how our decision was made there.
Yeah,
we didn't disagree with the reason. We disagreed with how our film plays coming out of that.
Yes,
but the scene with Jackie. If we would have had the footage, I think we would have made if we would have had the breadth of footage, we probably would have made the change if it would have worked. If Jeff said, man, this looks awesome, blah, 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 he comes back, I think we would have made the change.
Well, it wasn't,
or at least attempted.
It wasn't so much the footage; it's just the order of things.
Okay.
Changes so much that
could have been clunky, maybe.
It makes another scene extremely clunky, and it's another scene which gives up information that's important. It just basically.
Okay.
It just didn't work.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that opens up a whole nother thought process for me. I thought it was because we didn't have coverage or footage because we shot it so tight.
No.
And that's part of our problem. Well, let's admit it. That we shot this movie so tight that we didn't have a lot of cutting room floor stuff to go back to.
No, I mean, and the script was super tight too. I mean, it was a lean script. And I do tend to write very lean scripts. But yeah, there was not a lot of excess to choose from.
And that's what I thought you meant on this is Jeff didn't have enough to pull from. Thank you for saying this, because you opened up a whole nother thought process to me to going, if I put this here, it made other things clunky, and now it's like I'm shifting more things around like a Rubik's Cube or something, right? I'm trying to solve this side, and I'm messing up this side while I'm doing it.
Yeah, basically. Because I tend to write in a linear fashion. Even though this story has flashbacks, and I have flashbacks in other films, I tend to write them in a very specific way. Whereas we've made 2 mockumentaries, and with the mockumentary, our first mockumentary is called Game of the Year, and that was about role-playing gamers trying to get on a reality TV show, and that was
a great movie.
Chris Mackey starring vehicle. So originally, the editor who was supposed to do that was on board. She was working on it. And then there was another project that she had a prior commitment to that she's like, I have to go back to this other project. I'm so sorry, but I gotta. This was a possibility, and it's happened. I have to back out. I was like, that's fine. So then I started a cut, and then Scott DeRoe, who ended up being the editor, started a cut. I said, well, just compare and see which one's better. And we have 2 very different cuts of the film, and Scott's was awesome and mine was dog shit.
So if you buy the DVD, can we see your cut, Greg?
No.
Can we put it on there if somebody wants to buy it? If somebody wants to text me and say, I'll buy the movie.
No.
No, that's going to
Why would you want to see a worse
It would cost us too much money now that I know how much it costs to make Blu-rays and DVDs.
Well, I don't want to say mine was dog shit, but Scott's was better.
No.
But it was very different, because with the mockumentary, there's 100 different ways to assemble the footage.
He either got the tone, he got something different than you got, right?
But the point is, with Red Night at Skye's, there's only a couple of different ways you can assemble this footage and tell this story that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So that was the whole long circular logic to get to that point.
No, but you cleared it out for me, and I think the audience is not that we didn't have enough footage. It didn't work from footage. It didn't work as story.
Correct.
Right, and that's a way bigger difference than, hey, we just didn't have enough to kind of put in there. Because there are scenes where, holy crap, we had to use everything possible to put it together, right?
Yes.
Band-aid it together or do whatever we had to do. And Jeff's a genius for pulling off what he did based off of what we got.
Yeah, what I want people to take away from this is, you may love your film, like we love ours.
Love it.
But, having other sets of eyes and other professionals look at it and say, hey, it is good, but let's reevaluate a few scenes to make the movie look a little better, sell better, whatever the case, and maybe take that advice and go with it. You may not change much, maybe it's just a little bit, but it could possibly make or break your film. We don't know, but I'd say hope they look at their film as something they can mold a little tighter if they could, if they're willing to do so. Like, I know we had another film which got into distribution, and the distributor, liked it right away. And we always thought, man, if we would have had more time, we could have added this little extra thing in the first quarter of the movie to give a little more for the rest of the movie. What I'm talking
Sound of
about.
Nothing.
Yeah, and Sound of Nothing. There's a scene which we really wanted to add to it, but the distributor was happy with it, so we're like, okay, I guess we don't need to shoot an extra scene. So we didn't. But to this day, I know Greg and I both wish we would have taken the time to add this one little scene we needed, but that distributor wasn't invested enough in it. Like, this distributor is invested in Red Night.
Or at least he seems to be.
Seems to
Right,
be, yes.
right. And I don't disagree with the suggestions he's making. So that gives me confidence because it's still our movie. We can always say no. He can say no.
Yeah, I just wish we would have had some professional eyes on a couple of our movies to say, hey, it may do you justice to do X, Y, and Z, and we may have done it.
Well, it was also, context is everything. It was a very different mindset in place when we were at that point with Sound of Nothing.
Oh, sure.
Because this was after amphetamine, thoroughly rejected everywhere, and had a failed distribution attempt. And, I don't feel bad about all that at this point. Rhineland rejected almost every single film festival and got championed by George Hickenlooper, and then all that fell apart, and then finally got in with the distributor we went with, which I wasn't terribly happy with.
Still dealing with it today.
Still dealing with that today. And then we tried to do self-distribution with Game of the Year and didn't know anything about that. This was before Film Hub, before any of that, so it was all physical media. And that also went poorly. So with Sound of Nothing, it's like, I don't care.
Right.
If someone wants to pick this film up, I know that this company does not have a great reputation. I don't even care. Just whatever. Just put it out there. That's where my headspace was.
No, I think that's fair and honest. That's where you're at, and it's also time and money. And I don't know what happened on that film, Sound of Nothing, but I can say for Red Night, great. Make 1,000 suggestions, but I still have to go back and look at, can I afford it? Do I have the time to do it? Can I pull everybody back together? Because it's an independent film.
Yeah.
And we have to weigh all that in our decision-making process of what we're trying to do and what do we spend the money, the little bit of money we have, what do we spend it on?
Yeah, well, lucky for us, the only suggestions were to take a little out or shift
Oh, it
things
was
around.
all shaven within it because there was a lot of clean crap in there.
Yeah, it wasn't, you need a new scene. I mean,
Oh, yeah, no.
nothing like
well,
that.
you covered that. We covered that already in
Yeah,
reshoots with
yeah, we did.
the van scene.
Yeah, we had like a couple of minor, not even reshoots. We did not have any reshoots.
No reshoots.
Per se.
We added a little minor scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A one location, easy scene.
But when you start talking about moving or doing something, it's just like, we understand that it costs money, but people are oh, why didn't you just do this?
Oh,
why didn't you just do that? It's just like, well, give me $8,000 and I'll pull the crew together and I'll do it tomorrow.
You won't hear that from other independent filmmakers. You'll hear that from people maybe watching.
I agree,
that don't
but
know the
I
shit.
just think it's an important. It's a point you can stress to go. We did the best we could with what we had, and I think we're happy when the distributor comes back that's interested in our film and he's saying, hey, what about this? Or can you shave this down? Or the only things are editing choices.
Yeah, no, we made a very good film, a very tight film.
Exactly.
So I
Kudos to that process.
Yeah.
Because I think we covered 99% of it.
No, there were no glaring issues like, oh, if you could just fix this terrible problem, this will be a better movie. Like, no, everything was, it's a well-made piece of cinema, if you will.
Ooh.
Well, you have the experience of not moving on till you know you got it.
Yeah.
And that really is experience. That's
Yes.
why we'd have to go reshoot shit. you know?
Yes. And now we don't necessarily, whereas some of the other past movies, we have to go back and say, oh, gosh, I wish we'd done this. Wish the sound might have been better in this part, right?
Yeah, no, because we had a real top flight crew and a
Yes.
very veteran indie filmmaker, cinematographer in Stanzi, that between the two of us, like, yeah, we got all the bases covered. We're not going to leave anything really on the table here. And the only scene that we ended up shooting later, which actually Jeff Wedding, our editor, came up and shot it, was a real short bridge scene, which I thought, man, we just need something more to go from this main character's house to the robbery. There just needs to be something extra in there. And
Turned out great.
yeah, it turned out
It did.
great.
It fit perfectly. It worked really well. Got the same van.
And you
Yeah,
and you got to know the characters just a little bit more.
yeah.
No, I agree.
You
I
know.
agree. In that little, that
Yeah.
tight space.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it was impactful. That's the new edit, I guess. What we're working on.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be another edit.
Probably not.
Jeff certainly hopes not.
I think he is shaved as much as he can off of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to break out the old checkbook again.
Which exactly. Again, I want to emphasize everything costs money, and if you think somebody's going to do it for free, you're probably fooling yourself. And if they say they're going to do it for free, pay them anyway. So I think that
if you can, or
if you can,
you're in debt to their time.
yeah, because every change costs somebody something, whether it's time, money, effort, energy, whatever it is. I think that's important for any film.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with doing things for free or having things done for free, but there's an old saying: you get what you pay for.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So you can't just go remake a new movie and expect somebody to come in and say, "Oh, you need to shoot 4 more scenes and do all this stuff." It's like, I just need to shoot a new movie then.
Yeah.
Because you put the time and investment into it. So that's the new edit. I think we have something on the horizon based off that new edit that we're working on. We just received some papers in an email that I think we're excited about that we're going to try to work through with this same distributor.
Yes.
That we're excited about. So I think we're coming together on this.
Yeah, we just have to look over some legal eyes and redline a few things and get some shit cleared up and go from there. Then we'll know what the fuck's going on.
And soon it'll be coming to a streaming service near you.
Exactly.
Right to your living room.
Right, and you will not see it on this YouTube channel because we will not have rights to play it there.
No.
Because we'll lose those stuff.
And then you can reject it at your leisure.
Exactly. Accept or reject it at your leisure. And let us know what you think about that last scene. Should we have cut it or should we have not?
Yes, that's a great question.
Yeah. All right.
That's a wrap.
Well, yeah.
What did we talk about, Greg, tonight?
Oh, well, talked about what we normally talk about.
And what's that, sir?
The highs, the lows, the in-betweens of
True
independent filmmaking.
I said Mackie again. He's gonna
No.
He's gonna mess it all up.
I don't have another $5 to give to Greg to give to Tommy.
I could hear him saying
Yeah.
the wrong thing.
No, true.
Yeah.
I've been saying it right the whole time.
Okay. I got the tapes. On the Indie Film Sucks podcast, brought to you by 88mm Productions, blah, blah, blah. It's on the different places where all this stuff is on, and you can find it.
Get in now because this is the beginning of something great. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
All right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks, Mackie.
Hey, I bought a bottle of bourbon because we're going to be celebrating later.
All right. Let's go do it.
All right.
Adios.
Cheers.
Indie film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks podcast.